Hi everyone, David here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back for another video, or welcome if it's your first one. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's been a while, hasn't it? I haven't made a video for a month or two. I kind of burnt out basically. I was just making videos every week and it was just getting a bit too depressing to see my numbers just going down and down and down. But I said I was going to continue my perfume deep dive. I'm going to do it anyway, so I thought, oh, it might be fun if I could share it with any perfume fans out there. That's not to say I've finished making any other videos. I recently went to the Kyoto Train Museum, got the stuff ready for that. I'll make a video about that fairly soon. But today I want to continue with part 3 of my perfume deep dive. Last time we rounded out the 2000s and we're going to start off in 2010 and talk about what they've done, their tours, their albums, the singles, all that stuff. I'm going to get into it, as well as a bit of side talk about Capsule and a special new artist that we're going to talk about too. So please like this video, please subscribe to the channel, please leave a comment or a question. I'd really like to hear your comments, and please share this channel to any perfume fans out there. I'd appreciate that. I'm starting to feel a bit lonely with the comments, so I'd like to hear them. And also I've got a member. I finally got a member. I kind of didn't expect that, but Ki Bongu 96, thank you so much for becoming a member for the channel, so I really appreciate that. I haven't made any contact with you. I don't know how to send a message, but come and talk to me anytime. I'll be happy to chat with you. Okay, so let's move on straight to the PowerPoint little realm that I'm in at the moment. So let's take a look at what the Perfume girls were up to in the early 2010s. I've not cut it right in half. I've done 2010 to 2013. You'll see why this kind of narratively fits. This is kind of 2 album campaigns through. So where we left them in the end of part 2, they just finished their JPN tour. No, they hadn't. They'd finished their Triangle tour, which was getting bigger arenas, was it even arenas, but bigger venues, and more popularity. They've had their first #1 singles and #1 albums, so they're definitely on the up. They're kind of cresting the wave at the moment. There was a concert I didn't actually talk about because it's not available on DVD, but you can watch it on YouTube. This is the Disco special, which I think at the time was their biggest venue to date, which is the Yoyogi National Gymnasium, which is a big deal. This actually came before the Triangle tour, so I kind of missed that one out. I did watch that, apart from it being a very dodgy web rip with some weird, I don't know, after image stuff going on, some weird effect on it to stop the copyright. Yeah, it was interesting. It's a big venue, but nothing really that much to report back from compared to the Triangle tour. So I'm going to crash straight through that. Although they did have one of the a special medley, which was I think the first time I've seen that in one of the official big tours, which is called What is Disco. I think you can see that online somewhere on YouTube, but check that out. That was a kind of fun little medley. I've got my little notes down here, so if I keep peering down, that's why. But anyway, let's keep going. We're heading into 2010 now, and see what the girls are up to. We're going to kick things off with a single, or double A side. This is Fushizenna Girl and Natural ni Koishite. That translates to kind of unnatural girl, I think, and love naturally. I think that's what it means. So this is their 10th single, made it to #2, which is great. And not much to say. They've just got the double A sides, no B sides. It's kind of a chilled out double A side, actually. A bit of a strange diversion from the kind of techno pop electro world of no pun intended, of Perfume's image. But they are good songs. I like Fushizenna Girl. It's like a nice, not quite a mid-tempo. It's just got a nice bounce to it. It's fun. It's got a great video to it. In fact, the cover art is from the video, I think. Natural ni Koishite is also a bit more, that's more sort of laid back, a bit of a groove to it. I enjoy that too. It's a bit of a fun one. I'm going to come back to Natural ni Koishite a bit later because this has a surprising absence a bit later on. I'm going to get to that. But yeah, great double A side single to kick off the next album era. Next we get Voice, another single, another number 2 single as well. They can't quite get the number 1. I don't think they're going to get another number 1 from this point, but all of the singles are doing pretty well. They've got a pretty good fan base buying them. So we only get 2 songs. We don't even get instrumentals on this one, I think. So we get Voice, which is from the upcoming album, and 575 also, which is there. Voice is kind of one of the singles I forget about, really. It's a good song. Kind of, yeah, mid-tempo, kind of poppy song. I don't know, there's not really much to say about it, but it's a good song. Definitely check it out. 575 is a lot more laid back. It's a bit of a kind of late night, just kind of chilled out one. It's got even a little bit of rap in it, almost. Can you call it rap? But yeah, it's got a, yeah, slow the pace down again. Again, I don't feel like these singles are really representative of their kind of high octane tours, for example, but well, maybe they are, I don't know, maybe that's just my image. So moving on from that, we stop for a moment. We're going to take a 10th anniversary concert in one night only. This is at Tokyo Dome. This is their biggest venue to date, and probably the biggest venue you can probably get. Tokyo Dome is a big deal. If you can get there, that really means you've made it. In the last part, I think, or the 2 parts before, they did the Budokan, which is a very kind of important music venue, not necessarily the biggest, but you've kind of reached a stage of fame if you get to the Budokan. Tokyo Dome is, yeah, the next level. So celebrating the 10th anniversary there was definitely a big moment. We've got a pretty big set list as well. I've highlighted in red the ones that we've seen in a kind of major show for the first time. Not the first performance, but the first in like a major show or major tour. So yeah, you can see the track list there. It's a pretty decent set. We start things off with Gishiki, which is not a non-album track. It's just kind of like an opening thing. We will come back to this in, I guess, part 5, when we close things off with their final Tokyo Dome shows for now, because that's going to make a reappearance there. But this is the opening. They come out with these kind of draped like veil things, or like trains, and move their way to the middle of the stage. It's a huge stage as well, it's great. Counting up from 1 to 10, and finally we get to 11, which is, I think, signifying the future is going to continue. Yeah, great set list. It's a kind of technologically interesting show. It's very fun. Let me just look at my notes. Yeah, it's got a great opening block. Everyone looks like absolute megastars. You can really see that they've leveled up. The dancing is really good. They're looking totally confident and comfortable. The staging, where do we go to? I Still Love You is a really good one. I really enjoyed that one. It's kind of very elegant. It kind of turns into like a wedding cake. Like the circular stage in the middle kind of turns up into tiers, and they rotate independently, and that was really cool. They keep that for 575 as well. Then about halfway through, we've got Perfume no Okite, which is a special Yasutaka Nakata original kind of interlude thing, which is really good. They get to show off their skills. Kashiuka does the kind of 10 Kashiuka pyramid of all synchronized dancing. It didn't go quite to plan, it turns out, but again, in the future, we're going to come back to this moment. Ah-chan comes up and shoots balloons out of mannequins' hands with a laser beam, and Nochi goes through the 10 years of like poses from their videos or from their cover art. So that was really cool moment. Oh, by the way, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's also kind of interlude moment. So yeah, that was really where things really kick off. Yeah, very up tempo. I like the kind of giant podiums, the really tall podiums we get for Geniwa Gokiken Naname. This is kind of like a throwback song anyway, but they go off these huge like platforms, almost like cherry pickers. That's really cool. I think there might have been a bit of a malfunction with Ah-chan's one. She seemed to take a while to go up there. And yeah, finally rounding things off with Polyrhythm, where things really took off, and it was really good. And they had fireworks inside, which was kind of crazy. It's a really, I don't know, that's one of the moments where I think Polyrhythm is really one of their big anthems. So definitely check out that show if you can. It is available on DVD. There are lots of shows that are not available on DVD. I can't get through all of them. I can't even find a lot of them, so I'm just going through the DVD ones for now. They are available. What do we get next then? So we get another single. We get Ne, which is from the forthcoming album too. Ne is a great song. I love this. Very kind of nice up tempo. It's got a like cool style to it. The video is really cool as well with the kind of clones. I don't know what's going on with the styling on those like hats and the kind of moo-moos, kaftans. Yeah, I'm not sure about the styling, but the Ne is a really good one. And Fake It, that's going to be one of the legendary concert numbers. Although it's technically only a B-side, it's not going to make it onto a studio album, but we will see that a little bit later soon. Also making it to number 2, so they've had a string of number 2 hits as well, so great job. We're not quite ready for the album yet. We've got another double A-side. We've got Laser Beam and Kasuka Nakaori, which means like a faint perfume, a faint aroma. That also made it to number 2. We've got a real hot streak going on here. Still can't quite get the number 1. Laser Beam, again another legendary hit in their catalogue. Kind of fits in with their technological themes of their I don't know, their looks. And yeah, one of my favourite kind of mid-era songs. And Kasukana Kaori, I've kind of not really given this much credit in the past, but I really like this now. It's a nice, yeah, kind of, I'm saying mid-tempo a lot, aren't I? But that's, in terms of Perfume songs, it's a mid-tempo, but that's a good one. Yeah, enjoyed that. And one more, we've got one more single, another single A-side, but we've got another album track on there too. We have Spice and Glitter as a B-side, which is kind of crazy. I think they should be the other way around. They haven't really gone for the bangers for their main singles. I don't know why. Laser Beam, I guess that counts. But another number 2 single. Is that 5 in a row? I think all of the singles from this album made it to number 2. Spice has got a nice kind of mysterious opening. It's very I don't know. It feels like being dizzy almost. It's kind of hypnotic. So that's a great song. I don't know. It's got kind of an interesting vibe to it that doesn't sound like the other songs. And Glitter, that's another up-tempo one. That's one of the big favourites from this era too. It's kind of peak poppy electro, lovely wonderfulness. So yeah, Glitter, great job. I like that one too. And finally, we made it to the album. This is the JPN album, which is their 3rd number 1 album, I think. Or yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think all 3 of the main studio albums have made it to number 1. Yeah, JPN I think is possibly my favourite Perfume album. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to wait till the dust settles on this deep dive before I make a ruling. But yes, we're closing out 2011 with the new album. So we've talked about most of these songs already actually. So the opening is kind of a fairly sparse electronic intro. We've done Laser Beam, we've done everything down to My Colour. Is this the first time we're talking about My Colour? Yeah, this is another legendary tour number. It often gets used for their closing or the encores as well. It has a very complicated dance routine, which I have taken ages to finally remember. Some very, really hurts your wrist doing it, some kind of flicking your wrists. Yeah, this is a great kind of bouncy, up-tempo, positive song. And it's kind of, I don't know, it has a nice connection with the audience thing. Toki no Hari is almost like an interlude almost. It's a very kind of, I don't know, slow marching song. It's kind of interesting. Not really one of my favourites. Bit of a kind of music box sounding. I don't know. Yeah, not really a huge fan. We've had the rest of those then. Kokoro no Sports is the next one we haven't seen a release for. I never really thought about this song, but now I really enjoy it. It's got quite a nice sort of light poppy sound to it, but also underground. Under all this, there's a very kind of what can I say, like a deep synth line going through it. For some reason, it just makes me think of summer. It's very kind of like hot and humid kind of synth line. Does that sound insane? I don't know, but it's I don't know, some kind of nostalgic sound to it. I don't know what it does stuff to me. I don't know. And yeah, there we go. I think basically everything's turned up in the singles at some point. So this is one of their strongest albums, and they've definitely dug deep for the singles as well, having 5 single releases. So there we go. The album is out, and almost immediately we get the JPN tour starting in 2012. The red ones are ones we've seen perform for the first time again, so we've seen some of these before. Basically everything gets a shout out, apart from Natural ni Koishite, one of the first single A-sides, which is kind of insane actually, but I don't know why we missed that one. But yeah, it's a good set list. It starts off strong. Basically all of the Perfume concerts seem to be going pretty much the same. They start off with some kind of massive, great banger central opening section, slows down a bit, you get all the mid-tempos in the middle. Something happens right in the middle of some interlude or some big set piece, and then you get one more kind of burst of energy, and then an encore at the end. So this is pretty much the template, but it is good. I don't know why we've lost Natural ni Koishite. And we're finishing off with Coconut Sports as well, which I think is a great choice for a closer. It seems like we finally got rid of Puppy Love, which I never really liked that much. They always seem to use it as a closing track. But yeah, there we go. We get Fake It as well, which B-side manages to make it through. As for the JPN special, there is a kind of like an interlude part as well. That's kind of cool. It's kind of when they're getting changed or taking a rest, so that's fun. We get a medley as well. Shouldn't reset the whole thing, but we blitz through a few other bits there. We've got some of the older singles. We've got Baby Cruising Love, which thank God doesn't get another airing. Macaroni and Baby Cruising Love are kind of hitting the brakes on the tempo, so I'm glad that's gone. Secret makes it back in again. That's been performed quite a lot, much more than I expected, considering I kind of forgot it. In fact, they tease you right at the start with the intro, but they do come back to it at the end. Yeah, so there we go. That's the JPN tour. Very successful. Very and the things really liven up with the staging as well. We get these triangles which move around during the performance and kind of turn into like a big. In fact, I'm gonna go back a bit. Not ready to go on to the next single yet. Oh, can't make it go. Yeah, these triangles moving around. They've got projection screens on them too. And it's very dynamic and exciting. They kind of start out like a abstract design. Then they make this giant triangle, which is great because of that JPN special section, that kind of where it all comes back together. That's really cool. We've got lasers. We've got yeah, I don't know. The medley's a bit of a mishmash, but yeah, basically. This kind of feels like it should have been the Triangle Tour because of all the triangle motifs, but whatever. It's definitely a step up from the Triangle Tour, so it's very exciting to see their growth as a group, and also the budget going up too. I am secretly into the kind of flash and bang of their technology usage. Okay, so calming down from that, we've got a new single and a new record label as well. So we've moved away from Tokuma Records and we've moved on to kind of a shared release from Perfume Records and part of Universal. So they've joined another major international label now, and you'll see that now as they go abroad more often. So Spring of Life, this is actually the first single I ever heard of Perfume. This reached number 2 again. Unfortunately, didn't make it to number 1, even though it's fantastic. They've got an amazing video for this. They've got light up clothes, which are very kind of iconic. And yeah, Spring of Life is really bouncy, kind of up tempo. It's got a great little breakdown in the middle where things go a little bit strange and minor key and scary. But it's a very, I don't know, joyful song. I love this song. So definitely check out Spring of Life. We get a B-side as well, which as far as I know didn't pop up anywhere on any albums. Communication, which is a bit of a weird kind of plinky plonky ping pong kind of tempo to it. It sounds like kind of popcorn. It's fun. I never really loved this song, but I'm very familiar with it because I listen to this single quite a lot. But there we go, B-side, Communication. I think that's the first of 2 B-sides that aren't going to make it anywhere else, so that's good. So So we get another single next. We get Spending All My Time. Also reached number 2. They can't seem to get away from this number 2. Always the Bridesmaids. And this, I think, is their first all-English single as well, which is kind of unusual. I mean, the English they use is quite simple. They kind of repeat the title over and over again. Spending All My Time. Yeah, it's a good song. It's the video is kind of stylish, but not very fun. They're just kind of standing around in different rooms, a bit like on the single cover. We do get 2 B-sides. Point, which is going to make it onto the next album, which is kind of an odd song, really. It's almost kind of like a drum and bass song, which is not really what I expected from Perfume at this time or any time. But that's kind of good. Drum and bass is not really my thing, but and we get our final B-side that's not going anywhere else, Hurly Burly, which to me sounds kind of like a Kyari Pamu Pamu song done by Perfume, if that makes sense. Lots of kind of weird chanty choruses and Candy Candy and Hurly Burly, and I don't know if it quite matches the Perfume. It's a nice song, but not my... I can see why it didn't make it onto an album, at least. I know it's kind of well regarded by the fans, but whatever. So there we go, number 2 again. Then we actually go straight into another album. This is a compilation album. This is the last thing they released through Tokuma Japan, so there's a bit of overlap with the 2 labels. I think maybe this is kind of clearing out their contract. But this is their first global release. So this is a kind of global greatest hits up to this point. This did make it to number 1 as well. So this is yet another number 1 album for the books. And basically it's a really good collection of basically all their great bangers, and also Baby Cruising Love. It's the only one I didn't like. It's great as a hits collection. There are a few extras that aren't on the albums. I think Seventh Heaven was a B-side to Polyrhythm, so that's never made it anywhere else. So this is finally on an album. Fake It as well, the B-side to Nair, that's made it on here too. There are 2 new remixes as well. I think Chocolate Disco and My Colour get some special remixes for this one. I don't know if the My Colour one's that much different, but Chocolate Disco has a nice kind of extra bit of pop and sparkle at the end of it, so that's nice. They tend to use this in their concerts now, that one. It's got more kind of more climactic at the end, I think, because Chocolate Disco kind of just goes on at its pace. But yeah, Chocolate Disco, the 2012 remix, that's what it's called. Yeah, I like that one too. So there we go, getting onto the global stage now. Although as far as I know, it didn't really make any waves on any like global charts, but it's a good place to start. Speaking of global conquest, now they've got the floodgates are open. They're global artists now. So we get their first world tour. World tour, let's put that in inverted commas because it's basically an Asian tour. They got to 4 cities. Where are they? I'll write them down. Taiwan, Hong Kong, somewhere in South Korea, I'm not sure where, and Singapore. It's a fun one. This is on DVD too, so you can see this. You can see the Singapore show on DVD. We get to see a few things from the next album coming up for the first time. So Enter the Sphere, which is going to be an opening track. Spending All My Time and Spring of Life are both on there. But otherwise it's kind of like the Love the World tour almost. There's lots of the bangers. I don't think there's any slow songs really in there. Are there? I don't think so. Maybe towards the end, Coca-Cola Sports and My Colour are slightly slower, but yeah, it's a fun one. The stage is quite simple because they have quite small venues outside Japan. But yeah, it's a good set list. You can start to see their visual identity kind of popping into, which we didn't see that much in the JPN tour. So you get to see their kind of geometric fantasia that they live in. Lots of wireframe polygons and things like that. That's kind of what we come to associate with Perfume's like visuals. Yeah, so especially Edge, that really felt kind of fully realised. This is the touring version. I didn't really like the Triangle tour that much. It wasn't really that exciting, but the part where they did Edge suddenly blew off the roof. That gets successfully translated to the smaller screen. So they've got the kind of moving video panels, which is really good. Yeah, so it's a kind of decent template for like a mini tour. So that's fun. You can check that out. And before we get any further, we get a nice tie-in with a Doraemon movie, I believe. So Mirai no Museum. This is yet another number 2 single. Yeah, we've only had number 2 singles. So back to normal. We're starting in 2013. We've got Mirai no Museum, which is kind of a fun, bouncy pop song. It's aimed a little bit younger because Doraemon's kind of a younger audience, but it's very fun. I don't know, it's less kind of beat heavy than a lot of the Perfume singles, but it's very kind of cute. I don't always like their collaborations with various things. We'll see that a bit later on, but yeah, this is quite a nice one, all things considered. And Daijobanai, which is another album track from the next one. That's really fun too. It's got a lot of energy to it. It's very kind of fizzy. I don't know, I just like the... It's very up-tempo, and they're almost like remixing their voices as they're going. It's very kind of jittery and too much caffeine. It's very exciting anyway. I like that one. So there we go, another single. And yeah, another single now. Oh, we only made number 3. Oh no, what's going on? This is Magic of Love. I definitely remember this era because I just discovered Spring of Life. So basically everything from here, I was on YouTube watching this. I love the video for this too. It's very kind of psychedelic and lots of interesting camera trickery. But Magic of Love itself is a really good pop song. It's got a nice kind of, I don't know, nice kind of groove to it. It's got it's got a fun chorus. I like it a lot. It's very catchy. So yeah, love that. Handyman. Handyman's sort of, I don't know, is it kind of like an interval act almost of the next album. It's fun. I wouldn't say, yeah, it's definitely kind of a B-side song. I wouldn't put this as a single, but it's definitely got that kind of distinctively Japanese sounding aspect to this kind of electro EDM sounding song. So yeah, Handyman's quite fun. Where do we go next? Second World Tour. Now this is very important to me because this is my first Perfume show. I actually went to this show. So they took in 3 cities this time in Europe. So this is their first European tour. They went to Berlin, London and Paris. And of course I was there for the London one. That was my first time to see them. And this really set me off on the road really. I became a kind of a die-hard fan. This was not long before I went off to Japan myself. So something about the atmosphere of this concert really made me feel very comfortable and happy, and I felt like I could exist in Japanese culture somehow. I don't know, it had that kind of effect on me. So very important for me. I was watching the DVD a few nights ago trying to see if I could see myself, but I was on the second balcony. But it's great, great show. Mostly it's the same as the First World Tour set. It's kind of like moving on from that. We do get a few debuts. We get Magic of Love, Handyman and Daijobanai, which had already been released on singles. But the other things I think we'd seen before, kind of big surprises there. I think they did some kind of gig in Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival, including a kind of projection mapping dress that they kind of hold up. It's got like projection. Do you know projection mapping? It's kind of like tailored to the shape it's projecting onto. So they can project designs onto kind of white canvases if they're white dresses. And I don't know, it's hard to describe, but take a look at it online. But they did this really cool thing with Spending All My Time, where they were it's like an extended remix where they had different designs of dresses projected onto them, and it looked very cool. This gets reused in the opening of the concert too, so that was really kind of exciting. Get to see some of the technological advances. So yeah, there we go, very kind of seminal moment in my Perfume life. And finally, we make it to Level 3, which is a kind of strange thing to call your 4th album, but whatever. Level 3, we like the themes of 3 in their album titles. Yeah, another debut at number 1, another number 1 album. They're doing really well. This is their first album released through Perfume Records and Universal. And I suppose I've talked through most of these tracks. Enter the Sphere is a great opening track. It's very exciting. I'm going to talk about it in the next tour, but yeah, it's a great opening. It's got a lot of energy to it. it really kind of psychs you up for the rest of the album. And happily it goes nicely into Spring of Life as well, keeps the tempo up. So we've got a few new tracks here. Clockwork, which is, yeah, it's kind of like a middle tempo one. I don't know, it's a bit kind of calmed down and a bit of a cool disposition to it. It's kind of interesting. It's not my favourite, but it's got its moment on the tour. 1mm as well. There are some singles. This had a video for sure, but I think it's like a digital single only. But this is really stylish and elegant, and actually the video is using the same setup as the album cover, which is really cool. That's why I like this album cover. It's got layers to it. It's got a kind of relaxed pace, but it's got filtered vocals. It's got a very kind of kind of newsflash kind of backing track to it as well. So it's very, very cool. A lot of people are complaining about Mirai no Museum's position in the track list, saying it kind of kills the tempo, but I don't think the tempo was really that high at this point. But either way, we get a bit of a reset at Party Maker, which is one of the bangers, which I've kind of slept on. I've forgotten how good it was, but as you'll see in the tour a bit later on, that's going to get its moment. Yeah, Party Maker's kind of like the edge of this album. It's quite long. It's about 7 minutes, and it really goes hard on the kind of banger theme. So yeah, I love Party Maker. Furikairu to iru yo. It's a bit of a strange one. It's almost like reggae. If anything, it's a tempo killer. It's this song. Not that it's bad. It's just a bit kind of like do. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I mean, I love the up tempo stuff. So if it was up to me, it'd just be bangers from start to finish. So maybe I shouldn't be trusted. We've got Point Daijo Banai, Handyman. Sleeping Beauty is a new one too. It's almost an instrumental, and it basically gets used like that in the tours as a kind of costume change, rest time. But it's got this crazy like high floating like synth line all the way through it. It's very relentless. It does turn into like filtered vocals as well. It's very kind of ethereal and magical and spacey. So yeah, I really like that. A little bit strange to have Spending All My Time right at the end here. It doesn't. I think the flow at the end is a bit kind of irregular, but that's good. Dreamland is the closing, which I'd totally forgotten about actually, but it is pretty nice. Kind of I don't know. It's kind of down tempo, but it's got a nice kind of momentum to it. It's very like magical. It's got kind of space to breathe in it. It's very floaty. Yeah, and that gets used quite nicely in the tour as well. So yeah, we like Dreamland. Yeah, I like this album. It's a little bit inconsistent compared to some of the other earlier albums, but yeah, there we go. Happens sometimes. And I think we're finishing off now with the tour. This is only a dome tour as well. We only went to 2 venues for this. So again, like I said before, domes are big news. Tokyo Dome, of course, is huge, and the Osaka Kyocera Dome, that's the other place they went to. So this is, yeah, over a couple of weeks in December. We're going to round out 2013 with this. A few debuts as well. Mostly the album tracks from Level 3 get debuted. Weirdly, Handyman gets booted off. It doesn't make it onto there. They managed to find a space for yeah, all the other songs, but not Handyman. I don't really know why they couldn't, but maybe it's time constraints. I don't know. Don't think we really needed Computer City again. There's a lot of the old hits that they're relying on seem to be quite usually the same ones over and over again. As you can see, like the first half is basically the Level 3 section, but then the rest of the set list kind of gets split out between like old hits and some of the other stuff from Level 3. Yeah, it's a good show. Enter the Sphere is a fantastic opening. You can see this on YouTube actually, so definitely look for that. They look like megastars. They've got this huge dome thing in the middle of Tokyo Dome, and these huge bubbles that pop in the middle as well. So just watch it. And that big bubble thing actually kind of opens up like a big, I don't know, like a kind of clamshell thing. That's really cool. The visuals are insane. It does kind of lose steam a little bit when we get to the level 3 album tracks in the second act. But Point was kind of fun. They get these really crazy cherry picker things that they pop up on. That looks really high, it looks quite scary, but that's kind of interesting. You've got to make Point interesting somehow. Sleeping Beauty was a really good, exciting video montage to give them a little bit of a break to get changed and take a rest. So that was really cool. Party Maker is the absolute centerpiece. It's incredible. They've got this huge tower, which looks like it's just a lift, which goes up and down. I've got some weird filter on my face. What's happening? Every time I move my hand in front of my face, it changes. It looks like just a general lift, but it actually splits into 3 different lifts. So you think, oh, that's cute. They can do little formations on this big video screen behind them. But then the lifts kind of slide around like a slide puzzle, which is, I don't really understand how it works, but it looks amazing. It's dynamic, it's exciting. The visuals are amazing. All 7 minutes of it, fantastic. So definitely look up Party Maker if you can. That's my highlight. We do get the projection dresses again for Spending All My Time, which I think had not been done in Japan up to that point, so they saved that from the European tour. The retro bit was kind of fine. Polyrhythm really went off. That was a fantastic one. My Colour as the closer before the encore, that was really good. It's really kind of solidifying its place as a really good closer. And Dreamland was a good kind of cute ending. It's very static, but they've got these big like ethereal like angel wings on them. That's good. So yeah, that's a good tour. I'm kind of hoping they're going to flush out the set list a bit, because yeah, Computer City, Electro Worlds, Geniwa, Gokigen, Naname, One Room Disco. How many times have we seen these now? Polyrhythm and Chocolate Disco, we're never going to see the back of those, so just get used to those. But yeah, fantastic. We love a dome tour. So there we go. That takes us to the end of 2013. That's all the Perfume content I've got for that. So we're going to move on now to Capsule Corner. As I've said before, Capsule are 2-piece of Yasutaka Nakata, who is Perfume's producer, and the vocalist Toshiko Koishite. We've got 4 albums. They've been so prolific. Finally, this is the end of the big Capsule Corner. We're going to start to tail off in the how prolific he is. First we get Player, which is basically like a parallel universe Perfume album. It basically sounds like a Perfume album, but without Perfume on it. It's a good song. The title track is really good. Definitely check that out. Then we've got World of Fantasy, coming up like 1 year later. 1 year later. We've got a few bangers on there. This is a real banger album. I quite enjoyed this one. Things like Striker and Prime Time, definitely check those out. Both of these albums are like the commercial peak of Capsule as well. We've got to number 4 and number 3. This is the highest charting Capsule album. And you can actually check all these out on YouTube. They did a remaster a few years back, I think in 2022. And they've uploaded the full albums on YouTube. I think everything from album number 6, which is, well, I think there's about 8 albums on there, so you can check all these out. Just the earlier stuff you can't see on there. So yeah, 2 great albums. And 2 more albums now. We've got Stereo Works, another top 5 hits. It's kind of starting to feel like it's coasting a little bit, maybe. This is kind of less than a year after the previous album. And yeah, more bangers. It kind of feels like, well, it doesn't feel like a very cohesive album compared to World of Fantasy, but I mean, there's a good, Motor Force is a good song. Definitely check that one out if you can. Yeah, so we're kind of not quite hitting the same way as it used to. I think he's focusing more on the beats than the vocals. That feels like a bit of a trend. And then we get to Caps Lock. The commercial peak seems to have passed now. He's coming at number 13, unlucky for some. Caps Lock is a bit of a, I don't know, concept album. All the tracks are named after keys on a keyboard, so that's why Caps Lock. We've got things like enter, delete, space, return, things like that. There are a couple of tracks on here that just really didn't get along with. There's one called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which heavily samples some kind of old-fashioned car hooter, which I really don't like. It just goes right through me. So yeah, I didn't really get on with caps lock. It's almost vocal free. I think a lot of the tracks don't have any vocals at all. So yeah, okay, we've only got a few Capsule albums left. He's kind of, Capsule are getting less and less prolific. I think we've only got 2 left, and also a Nakata solo album. So there we go, Capsule corner's winding down a bit. But we've got a new corner. We've got the Kyari corner, celebrating Kyari Pamu Pamu. This is another artist produced by Yasutaka Nakata. So I called her the 2010s Queen of Harajuku. So a lot of Harajuku style. And yeah, early 2010s, that's a very specific moment in time, and this is where Kyari Pamu Pamu popped up. There aren't that many albums. I'm not going to get too into the weeds, but there are 4 in this little interval though. So we start off with an EP, or kind of, is it an EP or mini album? Moshi Moshi Harajuku. It did pretty well. It got onto the charts at least, number 18. So Pom Pom Pon, you might have heard from TikTok. It's had a bit of a revival. It's quite a cute album, really. It's yeah, it does kind of feel like Capsule's little sister rather than Perfume's. It's very kind of light and fluffy. It's got a few good pop songs on there too. Excuse me. It does have a cover of a Capsule song, Jelly, on there too, which that kind of draws a line definitely between Capsule and Kyari. That's kind of fun. It's a good, easy listen. Then we get the first major album, Pamu Pamu Revolution, which did pretty well. It made it to number 2 on the Oricon charts. The big breakthrough hit maybe is Tsukematsukeru. I think that's one of the enduring hits over the years. This is, I don't know, she hasn't quite found this, what can I say? This sounds like a very kind of lurid, candy-coloured, cheerleader kind of album. There's a lot of obnoxious chanting stuff, which she says her name quite a lot in this one. I do like it. It is fun, but it does get a bit much over the course of an album. It is very kind of slick pop. It just kind of feels like a Candyland parade, if that makes sense. That's the kind of vibe we're getting. So let's move on then to second major album, which is Nanda Collection, which made it to number 1. There is a famous track on here, Ninjari Ban Ban, which you might have heard on TikTok as well. There's a lot of these songs have emerged on TikTok after the event, which is kind of interesting. That's refining the sound a bit more. It does sound a bit more like a rounded out collection. It's more of like a traditional pop album, I think. It's more like, I think with Perfume, the electro sound is like the main course. On here, it's a bit more like a garnish, a bit of sprinkle on top. So it does make things kind of interesting. Definitely sounds very Japanese. I can't imagine any Western artist making this album. And finally, we get another number 1 album, Pika Pika Fantajin, which like these albums are coming thick and fast. They're coming every year. You don't really see a lot of progression, I feel, in a lot of change in the sound. So it does sound very consistent. It's cute. It does sound a little bit samey after kind of shotgunning all of these other albums, but Family Party's a proper banger. I think that's one of my favourites of hers. So yeah, check those out. There's not that much to it. In fact, we've only got a couple more albums of that. After this very prolific period, she does slow down quite a lot, as Capsule does too. So we're gonna take it down a notch. This era has so much to talk about, so we're gonna take it down a notch next. So as I see, we're closing in on 45 minutes, which is much longer than I thought. I could not make a top 5 for this era. There's just too much stuff, so sue me. So 10, we've got Sleeping Beauty, great interlude track. It's got a great pace. It's got a great synth line to it. I love that. Fushizenna Girl from JPN. This is a great solid pop song. I like this one a lot. Kokoro no Sports. This is my real discovery, I think, from doing this deep dive. I really enjoy this. I like the kind of melancholy electro undertones to it. We've got Fake It, which always seems to be capitalized, I don't know why. This is super banger. It's got that really ravey start to it. Although the verses don't quite match up to that kind of crazy intro, but it is fun. I like that a lot. Magic of Love, pure pop song, really enjoy that, lots of psychedelic colours. Party Maker, I think that the Dome Tour, the Level 3 Dome Tour really pushed it over the edge and turned it into one of the bangers. Yeah, I love that one. We've got Nair, which is a JPN single, very stylish and cool. Really kind of them at their, I don't know, pop, glossy peak, I think. Glitter, this is very nostalgic for me because I just enjoyed this era a lot. Very like straight up pop song. Laserbeam as well. I don't know, it kind of fits. It's got all the sound I like from Perfume. It's got the technological aspects to it as well. Great chorus, wonderful. So that means my number one is Spring of Life. Bit of a bias, that was my my first ever contact with Perfume, but it still stands up. I think it's solid. If it hadn't been for this song, we wouldn't be here. You'd be sitting there watching Instagram or something. So yeah, I appreciate this song a lot. Definitely check that one out. So great, here we go. So thank you for watching. That is the end of this part. I've got a few more parts left to go. I think part 4. I think we're gonna have 5 parts for the like the main album deep dive, and then we've got like a wrap-up part as well. So we're going to move on to the rest of the 2010s. We've got 2 albums to look through, Cosmic Explorer and Future Pop. I'm expecting to do this in a couple of months. Please bear with me. I've been kind of going through all these tours as quickly as I can, but yeah, that's exciting. So we've had a great progression here. I've really enjoyed this. We've gone from the kind of clubby electro beginnings of the Game album through the kind of image-defining Triangle album. JPN is their like full-on pop domination album, and then we've got Level 3, which is their kind of diversification into other styles. So I'm excited to see what's coming up next. This is also where I moved to Japan. So I moved in the start of 2014. So this is a really nice, narratively interesting place to finish. By the way, I know there is a single, Sweet Refrain, in 2013, but I'm gonna keep that over in the Cosmic Explorer era, just in case you're writing your comments now. But do please write a comment. I'd really like to hear what you think about this era. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, yeah, leave a comment, share this channel to any Perfume fans out there who really want to talk about things while we're in cold sleep. We've all got to stick together and keep the fandom alive. So yeah, thank you for watching. Sorry it took so long, and sorry it's lasted so long as well. We're on about 50 minutes now. But I hope to see you in another video. It's not all Perfume, I will do some other stuff too, and I'll see you then. Okay, bye bye.